We are on the road again for another adventure. We're going to find one of the coolest bird species that we have here in the UK. I'm super excited because I've never seen this species before, let alone taken photos of it. But we're in a little bit of a race against time. You see, this bird migrates back to Africa and back to where it stays for the winter in August. And it's currently the end of July. I have 3 days which are going to be set aside to finding and taking pictures of this bird. And we're going to an area where we know this bird likes to dwell. And you're thinking, what is this bird? He won't say what this bird is. Well, this bird is the great, the mighty, the incredible Osprey. Yes, that's right. We're going up to Rutland Waters to find the Osprey. Because it's a 3-day trip, we're gonna have to be lodging somewhere. And yes, that's right, we're lodging in this car. I'm super stubborn and refuse to pay for hotels. And this car can be turned into a mini camper. So we're gonna be staying in my little smart car for the next 3 days. And you're gonna be seeing bits of that in amongst the wildlife photography that we get up to. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm super excited. So we've got about an hour and a half left to go. It's quite a long drive up to Rutland Waters. But when we get there, oh boy, I cannot wait to see some ospreys. I can see water. It's there. We can see Rutland Waters just over this bush. Boy, this is exciting.
So it's through the door here and on your left.
Yep.
It's about a 20-minute walk down to Wader Scrape, and we have volunteers in there who can talk to you about the birds, but also show you where exactly they'll be in the bay. And there are some scopes down there as well that you'll be able to use.
Awesome. We've got about a 20-minute walk down to the hides, and we've acquired a map, which is going to be super helpful when it comes to finding the best places to see the wildlife. On this map, we have the hides which are closest to the ospreys, but on one of the closer hides, the man in the visitor centre told us there have been some otter sightings.
On the way down as well, in Deepwater and Tufted Duck, there have been loads of otter sightings the last couple of days.
Oh, really?
So do stop in for a little bit and see if you get them.
This means that we're going to stop off at each hide today to get a look at what's around and hopefully spot some otters as well as the ospreys. So we have come to the first bird hide, and this is the deep water hide. In front of me, which I'll show you in a minute, there are small windows where you can look out over the deep water. Now on this board, there's a bunch of animals, which I'm guessing you can see here. I did bump into someone who was leaving this hide, and they said there wasn't much here. So we're gonna spend about 20 minutes here, I reckon, see if anything shows up, and then we'll move on. Whoever designed these didn't really have tripods in mind. Not exactly sure how I meant to set this up. Heading west of the deep water hide, we came to the next hide, the Tufted Duck hide. There is definitely wildlife at this hide. We've got a great egret here, and I'm filming him now. I've seen them, but I've actually never got footage. So I'm using my Canon 250D, and I've got manual focus, and I'm using 4K. So this footage should be beautiful. There's also cormorants and geese, and there's gulls. There is a tree just full of cormorants. But there is no osprey and there's no otters. So I'm gonna sit here for a while, and I don't think these birds are going anywhere soon.
An orange eye, and he will stay as a juvenile in his first year. Hello, have you seen him?
Hi, yeah? I haven't, no, it's first time.
Righty-ho. What I would recommend is when you're finished in here,
Yep.
hop down to shallow water hides, next one down.
Okay, yep.
The upper level is the same height as the osprey's nest.
Oh, really?
Trying to photograph them from here, you've got brown bird, green background.
Yes.
There you've got Burley on the Hill house as your backdrop.
Okay, I've seen pictures of that.
Yes, yeah.
Both in there at the moment. You can see the difference between the adult and the females as well from much of a distance. You are slightly closer at the next two highs, it's just that angle.
After talking to the volunteers and getting my first glimpse of the ospreys, I was advised the best place for photos would be the shallow water hide. And somehow I've managed to get to the biggest, the so-called best hide for spotting these ospreys, and currently it's just me. I have this hide all to myself. Now, just about, I'd say about 150 meters that way was our last hide, and this one is special because it's elevated. I was talking to the people in there and they were telling me how from here we're the same height as the osprey nest. Now currently there's just one osprey on the nest, and I've got my 250D in 4K again, getting a good zoom on the nest, but it's further away than I thought, and so it's still a very small picture of the osprey. I'm hoping the ospreys fly over this way and come a bit closer. Ospreys almost became extinct in the UK in the 19th century, with only 2 pairs left in Scotland in 1967. Now, in the whole of the UK, there is still only about 300 breeding pairs of ospreys, 250 of which are located in Scotland. There are approximately 14 in the Rutland area. Seeing them in real life for the first time was such a surreal experience, and it is one that won't easily be beaten. After spending 4 hours in the shallow water hide, I spent the last 4 hours of the nature reserve's opening hours dotted around the other 3 hides, meeting new people and enjoying the peace that the large body of water brings. The nature reserve at Rutland Waters, where we were in the hides for over 6 hours today, closes at 5 PM. So we took a 10-minute drive down to a place called Ockham, and I bought my food here in a Morrison's daily because I forgot it was a Sunday and all the large shops close at 4 o'clock, meaning tomorrow morning we're gonna have to do a big food stock up so that I don't go hungry for the next few days. I've explored this little village a lot. There's a little castle, which was beautiful, and that's where I ate my lunch. And now I'm just having a little explore before I start to set up my car for the night. It is such a beautiful little town, and I'm currently sitting in a park reading my Bible because honestly, it's so peaceful. The sun has come out and it's just the right level of warmth where I can feel it, but I'm not concerned that I'm going to burn. Now, if you watched my Chilterns road trip, you will have known the evening was a bit hectic because I started making camping meals in public, in areas like this. And this time I've opted out of doing food. You'll have seen I'm going for sandwiches and crisps. I'm going for simple meals that I can just pack up with me and bring along. That makes this experience much more peaceful. I've had hours this evening to just sit and enjoy myself. And that kind of wind down is really helpful because it makes this feel more of a holiday rather than a non-stop challenge. Right now we are parked on the high street, which is not ideal for doing stealth camping. However, this is the perfect place to set up your car before you move to where you're going to camp for the night. That way, when you arrive at your final destination, it's not obvious that you're going to be sleeping there. This isn't my first time doing car camping. First time, I brought an air mattress, which made it very difficult setting up the bed. However, this time, I just have a futon and a board to make a flat layer. This means that all I have to do to set up my bed is put this passenger seat down flat and pull my bed out. And now, you brush your teeth. This lifestyle quickly points out to you how self-conscious you are about all the normal things you do in the privacy of your own home. But once you've done this routine, it's now time to go and find the spot and park up for the night. And there we have it, we are set for the night. And this time it was nowhere near as complicated as last time when I had an airbed, and I know that this mattress won't deflate, so I can sleep and relax and hopefully get through the whole night without waking. It's still a little bit light outside, so I'm gonna chill for a bit and I'll see you in the morning. I have a street lamp right above me, I've just noticed.
It is 6:18 in the morning and we're going to be getting up and moving because we're going to be starting early today. So let's get this car converted back into an ordinary vehicle.
So you're probably wondering, what equipment have I brought with me for this photography trip? Well, first of all, I have my camera bag. That is a 50-litre camera bag, and on the table here, I have everything inside it. First of all, we have the main camera setup. This is the Canon 7D Mark II and the Sigma 150 to 600mm lens. This allows us to zoom in to the Ospreys and get closer up photos, although as we discovered yesterday, they're further away than I thought. Along with the camera, we have our tripod setup. Now my tripod is currently filming this, but here's the gimbal head that I use, and this allows the camera to have smooth movements
and it means my arms don't ache from holding up the camera all day. In this little pouch here, I have all of my vlogging equipment. So this includes mounts and batteries, little tripods, things like that. I have a spare vlogging lens for wide angle. I have my coat in case the weather turns bad. And I have my binoculars. Finally, I have the Canon 250D and 50mm 1.8 lens filming this video. I also have with me my DJI Action 2. This little action camera has been filming all of the behind the scenes and action footage of this video. And we're back from Tesco. So what did we buy? I'm quite excited. I think this is my first ever shopping haul. So first of all, in the top of this bright orange bag, we have a huge bag of crisps. Now I brought 2 bags of crisps with me, but I figured I'm gonna need quite a few more if I'm doing constant packed lunches. I got a loaf of bread, and with that loaf of bread, I got some peanut butter, Meridian, the only version that you should buy. It has to be 100% peanuts. And I've also got some honey here. These 3, they came to about £5, maybe a little bit more. And they're gonna be my sandwiches for the rest of this trip. That means I am saving money in the long run. I bought some mango because I am missing fresh food, and this fruit will be super tasty. And then some protein granola eat natural fruit bars, which are my breakfast. Now it's currently 9:45 and I haven't eaten anything, so I cannot wait to tuck in to one of these. And finally, I think I'm weird, a little bottle of milk. I like drinking milk in the mornings and no one's going to take that away from me. So we're going to eat the bar, drink the milk, and then head over to Rutlands to continue our photography. I'd like a permit, please.
Thank you. Have you been before?
I came yesterday, yes.
So you know exactly where you're going?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I had a good explore. The weather can't make its mind up. One minute it's raining, the next it's beautifully sunny. So we're getting a variety of weather today. I almost want the rain to come back because I think wildlife photos in the rain are really cool, and a hide is a perfect opportunity to take photos of birds in the rain without having to be in the rain yourself. Now, while I was talking to the lady at the desk, she told me that we've actually hardly seen any of what we've paid for. Okay.
You know this part then, but you've actually paid for the whole of the reserve.
Okay.
So there's this bit as well, which is a lot bigger.
Yep.
Okay.
All of those hides need to be explored while I'm here. So we're currently in the tufted duck hide. I'm going to swing to the osprey hide in a minute. We'll get a look at what ospreys are up to today. But if everything's looking similar to what it was yesterday, then we'll definitely go and explore these other hides that Eggleton has to offer. And what better place to learn about ospreys than from the experts and the volunteers who are here. Hiya, what's your name?
My name's Steve.
And Steve is a volunteer here. What kind of roles does being a volunteer include?
Well, what we do is come down here in the morning, well, most of the day actually. There are people here from 6 in the morning until about 9 at night. And we work in shifts to talk to the people that come down to see the ospreys.
And can you tell us a bit about the history of ospreys within the UK?
100 years ago, ospreys almost went extinct. People were taking eggs, they weren't treated as, you know, birds that people wanted. So there weren't many left in the UK. I think they came back by themselves to Scotland first, and then after that they were reintroduced to other areas, and Rutland Water was one of the first places where they were reintroduced, and that was started in 1996.
That's really cool. And can you tell us a bit about the story of the Ospreys that we have here at the moment?
Okay, well, in 1996 the first birds were brought down from Scotland. They were put in cages on the hill, which you can see out over there, called Lax Hill. As they got a little bit older, they opened the cages up so that those young birds could fly around. They could then acclimatise themselves to Rutland Water, and then at the end of that summer they migrated, which is an instinct that's inbuilt into the birds, and most of them go down into Africa, West Africa. So they came back in 1999, and the first pair paired up and had an egg here in 2001. Eggs have been laid and hatched here. More have migrated, more have come back, and now we have a self-sustaining population.
The hides down at Linden seem very similar to what they were yesterday. So, as we learned in the visitor centre this morning that we can go to Eglinton Nature Reserve, we're going to pop across the bay and see what wildlife we can find in this nature reserve. And we are currently on our way to the Kingfisher hide. I've singled out this hide as the one to go to because not only should we see some cool wildlife such as kingfishers, or that's what the name suggests, we could also see the ospreys. You see, after watching the ospreys for a couple of days, I've noticed they always fly along one side of the lagoon, and that side of the lagoon is the same place where this kingfisher hide is. So hopefully as the ospreys fly past, we get another opportunity to take some different photos of these ospreys. And this is Kingfisher Hide. We're looking out over a lovely lagoon. There's only one problem. We're facing north, and to see the ospreys, we want to be facing south. You see, it turns out Kingfisher Hide isn't looking quite where I thought it was, meaning a hide like Heron Hide would actually be more ideal because it's looking out to where the ospreys fly. Nonetheless, I would love to see a kingfisher. Unfortunately, there are no kingfishers, so scrap everything good I said about Kingfisher Hide. Let's go to Heron Hide. And we are now setting up in Heron Hide, and as the name advertises, there is a bunch of herons out here. There's herons and there's egrets. I can also just about see the bird hide that we were in earlier when we were photographing the ospreys, the shallow water hide, I think it's called. And that means that that is straight across the bay. If it's straight across the bay, I just have a completely new perspective on the ospreys. What? He's flying to the other hide. This is where we want to be in that one.
Well,
no.
Is he going to go on that? Gosh, yeah.
Oh, he's so close to it. That's so frustrating.
It looks like he's close.
Yeah, it's true.
How long do you sit in here? Hours.
Hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no stopping until you get the photo.
Yeah.
And then once you got the photo, you think you can get a better photo,
Yeah.
and so you stay for more hours. Currently, my favourite picture on this trip is actually one of a hobby. Yesterday when I was sitting in the hide, I got pictures of a hobby as it was swooping, literally with its wingtip skimming the water, which was awesome. Not only that, he flared his tail out as I'm assuming he caught a large bug hovering above the water. Now, I've never seen a hobby before, and I was flicking through one of my bird books the other day and I thought I'd love to see a hobby, so I actually googled where do you find hobbies, and it said the south of England. And I was gonna plan an adventure to go out and see the hobby and find one. And then I find it on my Osprey adventure. What is the next species that I want to see? Oh, it's definitely a puffin. I really want to see a puffin. I've never seen a puffin and they're such beautiful little birds. So yeah, my next adventure will most likely be to find a puffin. And I can officially see an osprey from this hide. It's currently landed on one of those strips that divide the lagoons. It is way too far away to get a good picture of. But if this is what it looks like from this angle compared to how I saw it when I was in the other hide, there's every chance it'll come closer this way. Now we just wait for it to take off and fly in my direction. Having sat in the heron hide all afternoon, I learned that the ospreys like to follow a line of trees when they leave the nest. This line of trees directly leads to the lagoons behind the visitor centre. There is a bird hide called the Osprey hide, meaning there should be ospreys around that area. So I spent all evening going to all of the different hides near the visitor centre to try and find the hide which I think would be most likely to catch some ospreys. And I have chosen my favourite hide. It is this one, the Smew hide. It's actually one hide along from the buzzard hide, but this hide has a much better view of the water with less reeds in the way. I think if an osprey was to come and swoop low over the water, this would be the best spot to get a photo of the osprey. So I'm gonna go and eat because I am literally starving. I've got a stomach ache, I'm so hungry. But what I learned is that you can get into this nature reserve much earlier and you can stay until a little bit later. So I'm gonna be coming here at about 5:30 tomorrow morning, which is very early, I know, but I've decided that's when there's the best chance of seeing some awesome wildlife. It is such a lovely evening. The sun is shining, the breeze is blowing, and I'm here all alone. It's so peaceful. I've seen all three of the ospreys flying around in the distance over the area that I think they'll be in tomorrow morning. So that's exciting, but I'm just gonna stick around in this super peaceful parking lot and make some food. And that concludes day 2 of our Rutland Ospreys adventure. Today we saw more of the ospreys and we also explored a lot more of the nature reserve, ready for tomorrow, which I can already tell is going to be a big one. Tomorrow is our last day, but we're going to do early morning, we're going to do dusk and dawn. We're going to get all of the active hours of the ospreys and fingers crossed we'll get some photos. This little town, Eglinton, where the second nature reserve is such a beautiful little town. I've really enjoyed the evening here. I went over and saw the sunset with some sheep. It's really beautiful. Now it's still bright outside, but I'm getting an early night, and I will see you very bright and early in the morning. We were the last ones to leave, and we're first to arrive in the car park. After having a quick look at the sunset and taking some photos, we are now in Smew Hyde, set up and ready to see some ospreys. So it is 5:30 in the morning. The plan went to plan. I did a light jog to get here, so I'm a bit hot and a bit sweaty, but now I can sit. And I'm planning to stay here until about 10 o'clock, and then I'll take a break until about 4 o'clock, and then I'm gonna come back for dusk. And I'm hoping that the dawn and the dusk periods, there's more action for the wildlife. I feel for the last 2 days I've sat and watched a whole lot of nothing. So we'll see what we get. Juice cartons have honestly been a blessing on this trip. While sitting in a bird hide, it can get a bit monotonous, and the twang of an orange juice in a carton brings you back to life. It's been 2 hours and we've had no sighting of the osprey. We got some pictures of a brown and white bird, which at first I thought was an osprey, but as it got a bit closer, it wasn't an osprey, and it looked more like a buzzard, and I was a bit confused. I thought we saw the osprey, but it was actually a buzzard which had a lot of white around its head. Well, a man just came into this hide and asked me, "Did you see the marsh harrier?" And so I got the pictures up, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a marsh harrier." I've never seen a marsh harrier before, so it's very exciting, and we got some pretty good photos. We got a bird of prey up here. We have an osprey. Okay, I actually have an osprey. No kidding. We've been waiting here for 4 hours, and everything was worth it for that one flyover of the osprey. It came the closest it's been in the past 3 days. It's about 3:30 and we're back on the trail to find more ospreys, and I was thinking, we've seen the ospreys on the nest, we've seen the ospreys flying around the sky and perched on trees, we've seen the ospreys eating food, but we haven't seen them catching food. So I was talking to the person in the visitor centre for this nature reserve, and I asked him, where is the most probable place to see the ospreys catching fish? And he said, without a doubt, the South Arm 3. And Lagoon 3 was pretty popular. Now they're all the way up the north of the reserve and not too far away from the hide we were in earlier. And we are in the Lapwing hide. This hide looks out over to the South Arm 3. But it also looks out over Lagoon 2, which is the lagoon we were looking at this morning, and we saw the osprey. At the end here, I have a 270-degree view, which means if the ospreys fly around here, we should see them. Now, South Arm 3 is a huge body of water, so if they're fishing out there, they could be miles away. It might be the case that we just see it, but we don't get good photos. Equally, if they come closer, or if they're in Lagoon 2, we stand a good chance. And now there's only one thing left to do. Yes, you guessed it. It's to wait. I've been waiting here quite a while and we found some little fish. But we have a distinct lack of ospreys. However, earlier on when I said I was going to do some editing and charge my batteries in the visitor centre, I actually just got distracted, as any wildlife photographer does, by an osprey outside of the windows. I went up to the viewing platform in the visitor centre and hung out there for many hours watching the osprey come back and forth as it would land on this tree in the middle of Lagoon 1. So while we have no ospreys here, take a look at what I got up to during that break.
There's hides everywhere.
I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, I managed to make it work.
I would never have managed that.
It's every hide I go into is slightly different, so I've kind of mapped out all the different configurations. There's a kingfisher. Which wire we were looking at?
The island was about 12 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
There's one or two white flowers on the left-hand side.
Oh yeah, I see.
It was on the wire just below the
Oh right. Oh, he's on the move. Yeah, he's flying. He's to the left. Hiya.
steps get steeper every week.
And that brings us to the end of our adventure up here at Rutland Waters. It's honestly been such an amazing trip. We've seen awesome new wildlife and we've got fantastic wildlife photos. I'm 100% going to be coming here again, probably in a year's time when there's new chicks on that osprey nest. And I will be bringing a teleconverter with me because this reach of 600mm was good. But at every hide, I wanted a little bit more. So next year, we'll be back with a teleconverter. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe. Comment any questions you have down below. And I hope you enjoyed the little car camping segment of this video. I will see you in the next one.